Hey guys, RC Anime here. At this point I've spoken about many creators in the industry. I've said things about Satoshi Kon, Shinichiro Watanabe, Hiroyuki Okiura, and obviously Ikuhara. But never have I ever talked about studios. And that's because studios shouldn't be held responsible for the final product. It's based off the creators that take on the task. Well, at least all studios except for one. Kyoto Animation. A studio that's been around for over 30 years, and within this time they've made 22 shows and 9 films. If you're a fan of anime, most likely you've seen their influence in shows like Kokoro Connect, Nanan Biori, and even in porn. But if a studio normally isn't fully responsible for the quality of a work, why am I talking about KyoAni? Well, that's because KyoAni is special and works differently than Madhouse, Bones, or practically any other studio. The question is, what makes KyoAni so different? The primary difference is that KyoAni does pretty much everything in-house. They rarely ever seek outside sources to help make their anime, with the occasional exceptions to composers and some writers. This is literally opposite of what every other anime studio does, which is to outsource the directing, the writing, and or the animating jobs to freelancers. However, the usual method can easily generate conflict, especially in the animation department. Say if a director really desired a particular animator's skill set, chances are that animator can already be busy with several other shows at the same time, in the end either resulting in scheduling delays or the director giving up on his initial choice altogether. KyoAni doesn't have this problem, because all the animators they need work in that studio. KyoAni is so strict on this, they even have their own school to train new animators for themselves. Almost all of Kyokai no Kaneda was actually animated by a set of new graduates from that school. This way, if a director at KyoAni, say Naoko Yamada, needs help on the use of lighting in K-On!, she can easily consult Yoshiji Kigami, an in-house animator, and now K-On! Has a resonating feel. The relationship between directors, writers, and animators becomes more trusting and dependable, and each person is given the right job.
今の日本のテレビアニメーションシステムっていうのは大概の場合、一人の、アニメーター、原画マンがカメラマンと役者さんを兼ねるようなシステムになっちゃってるんです。これは僕は本当は良くないような気がしてますっていうか、テレビドラマを作ってるスタッフだったらあまり考えられないことだと思うんですけど。
What's also unique to KyoAni is that they pay their staff on salary, whereas most studios pay their workers by commission. This offers a better work ethic in general and allows animators to spend more time on specific anime than rushing out keyframes one after the other. Most of the time, KyoAni generally finishes animating their shows even before they air, allowing more time to be spent on embellishing little details, which is why their shows have looked increasingly better. Recently, KyoAni has become so solidified as an independent studio that they even self-publish their own content. Shows like Free, Kyokai no Kaneda, Chunibyo all come from light novels published by KyoAni themselves, selected off an annual award ceremony held by the studio. Other studios generally rely on higher-ups to obtain projects through their connections, in a way bidding against each other to produce a new anime. Sometimes if a studio is unlucky, they won't have an anime to make at all because of this. Actually, this is the exact reason why Manglobe recently went bankrupt, as they couldn't get enough stuff to work on, and not because Gangsta was a financial failure. By self-producing most of their own published content, KyoAni is in a safe zone and will always have a pool of projects to work out of. Also, by doing this, KyoAni self-advertises their own light novels, creating a win-win situation. However, every now and then the studio still adapts stuff from the outside when they want, like Amagi Brilliant Park and Hibike Euphonium. Finally, all of the factors put together allow KyoAni to be sincere to the moment. As a studio that has built a solid foundation to work in, each one of the creators are able to work together in making every single second of their anime stand out visually. There's no miscommunication, no worry about a freelancer schedule, no fear of not having any projects to produce. It has become a self-sustained and individual company full of people who want to make good anime. The reason why older anime looks like it was filmed on the spot is because everyone in the studio knows and trusts each other. Like how character designer Yukiko Horiguchi could tell exactly what Naoko Yamada wanted in Tomoko Love Story, because they're always chatting with the same creative soul. The studio itself has sort of become an auteur, with directors and animators kind of acting as subauteurs. There's a distinct style to the look and feel of a KyoAni show. Whether or not if you like these anime, there's always a sense of wonder to how they look. And as Andrew Stanton said,
"The best stories infuse wonder. And that's what I think the magic ingredient is. It can't be artificially evoked, and that's the first story lesson I ever learned. It doesn't always mean plot or fact. It means capturing a truth from your experiencing, expressing values you personally feel deep down to your core."
Exactly. KyoAni is like the Pixar of anime, a couple of creators who know each other well, working together to make the anime they want. So if KyoAni's business model is so successful, how come other studios don't follow up on it? Well, to be honest, KyoAni is really lucky. The studio didn't always work the way it does. 6 years ago, they worked just like everyone else. For 10 years, KyoAni worked in partnership with Kodokawa and TBS, being given projects such as the key adaptations, Haruhi Suzumiya, and Lucky Star to produce. However, in 2009, KyoAni took a huge risk and used their name to host a competition for new stories to be published by them, later resulting in Chunibyo, Tamako Market, and Free. And now, as of 2014, KyoAni has a net profit of 1.3 million USD, a lot more than most studios have, partly because they now own most of their own IP. Even if studios like Shaft or Trigger desire to be like KyoAni, it's not that easy, because in KyoAni's case, the way they produce anime is actually kind of revolutionary. Sorta like Studio Ghibli, but less conservative and with a much higher output. You may love KyoAni or you may hate them, but it's important to acknowledge that what they're doing is literally saving anime as a studio. And in order for other studios to remotely even achieve this, you have to be at the right place at the right time, you have to be willing to take big risks, and you have to trust the team you make. Because very likely, Kyoto Animation might have just started a new era in the industry.